Welcome all of you in your technical communication class. Today we are going to begin the Unit 1 Fundamental of Technical Communication. We will cover the chapter Technical Communication, Nature, Features and Scopes in this module. Before moving to technical communication, first of all, we need to know what is communication. Communication is a process we all know that we use in our daily lives. Communication is something which becomes the base of the society. Without it, we cannot imagine our modern world. Everything which is happening in this society is based on the communication. Without communication, we even cannot share our details with the device. So here is the definition of communication. Communication is an activity or process of expressing ideas or feelings and giving people information. Communication is also about sharing experiences, stories, and many things which is related to your personal and professional life. The word communication comes from the Latin word communicare, which means to share. That is, to share information, experiences, ideas, facts, and knowledge between a sender and a receiver. And that's why communication is called as a two-way process. Because in communication, you will always see that there will be a sender and a receiver. If we come to the point that how many types of communication we have, we can break communication in two major parts. First is verbal communication and second is non-verbal communication. Verbal communication involves all those communication which involves the medium of language. And non-verbal communication involves all the categories of communication except the communication which is happening in language or in a spoken word. Wherever you will see that there is the structure of sentences, there is grammar, there is language, scripts, then you can say that it is verbal communication. But when you cannot see any structure of sentences, any grammar, syntax, or we can say any form of scripts or any language, we can say that that is a non-verbal communication. Verbal communications examples are letters, memos. We are speaking, that is verbal communication. We are using language, we are using sentences. So it is verbal communication. When we are using our body language, facial expressions, gestures to send the message, to send the information to somebody, then it is non-verbal communication. But I must say that communication involves the whole non-verbal and verbal communication both. Why? Because an effective speaker, you will see, will use a very effective language and then he will also use the gesture, the body language and the facial expressions. So an effective communication involves both verbal communication and non-verbal communication in balance. Whenever a speaker uses non-verbal communication and verbal communication in balance, he can be called or she can be called an effective speaker. So this was the types of communication, verbal and non-verbal communication. Now we must come to the point of importance of communication. So communication is an important role. Its role is like immense nowadays. You cannot sustain one day without communicating. If you are working in an organization, then how you will work without communication? Then you will say that I can do my work without communicating others. I can do that. So how you will do? You have to make the report, you have to make the letters, you have to communicate with the devices. So all the works which you are doing is all based on communication. So communication has an important role in our lives. We have many social needs to express our pleasure, to express our happiness, sadness, our success, our joy, our experiences, stories, how you will share those things when you cannot communicate properly. Then you can say that communication is major for the existence of society. Why? Because yes, without communication, you can't imagine the structure of society. We communicate with each other when we live in the society, and that's why the word come into existence, which is community. The community, the people who are in that community communicate with each other. So how these words come into existence? These all words are related to each other because all of these are based on the importance of communication. Then communication has an important role in all of your technical world. Without communication skills, without business communication skills or technical communication skill, how you will sustain in an organization which is wholly dependent on technical language or is surrounded by a very professional world. So communication plays an important role in today's technical and professional world as it helps people seek required information. If you want any information, if you require any information, you will search it on Google. So there also you are communicating with the device, with the applications. And if you want to decide something, if you want to take some decisions, you will also use the language. And then you will move forward to giving order. So in all of these situations, you have to use communication. Communication and self-concept. Basically, whatever you feel about yourself plays an important role in your communication. Because whatever, the way you see yourself leaves an impact in your communication. It can become a barrier. It can become a source of confidence in yourself. If you have a positive self-concept about yourself, whatever you see yourself is very confident, is very positive, then your communication automatically becomes very effective in nature. But if you are ignorant about yourself, you doubt yourself, you cannot see your self-concept as positive, you see yourself as a person who is not worthy, then your all of these thoughts leave a very negative impact on your communication. So having a positive self-concept plays an important role in your effective communication. So you need to improve your self-concept image. Before going towards the technical communication, first of all, we need to know what is general communication. So communication is an integral part of everyone's life. We used to communicate every day. Communication is important for social relationships and international contacts. When people verbally or non-verbally in speech, in writing, share with other person their views, interest, opinions, and so on, this type of communication, which is not specific, is termed as general communication. Okay. So features of general writing or general communication. Its content may be general in nature, whose basic purpose is to amuse the readers or to entertain the readers. General writings or literary writings are often cast in subjective mode. The style of general communication is decorative, or you can say metaphorical in nature, which includes bombastic words. It is not always for a specific reader. Whatever general writing, the novels and stories, anybody can read them and entertain themselves. But when we come to the technical communication, it is not so general in nature. Technical communication means the transmission, the transfer of facts, figures, ideas, rational thoughts, and all sorts of scientific and technical information from one individual to another. Technical communication is the process of gathering to technical information and presenting it to a targeted audience in a clear, useful, accurate, comprehensive, grammatically correct, and easily understandable form. The technical communication involves a lot of technical terms, whereas you as engineer will see that whenever a person is making report and an engineer is making report, both the reports have many differences. They are very different in nature. Why? Because your field, the engineering field, involves a lot of technical terms which general readers cannot understand. And that's why technical communication is different from the general communication also. It is specific for some audience. Your reports, your memos, or your letters are not going to be to entertain the general readers. It is for specific target or for specific project. Then only you can say that technical communication is happening. And that's why it is very necessary to see that your communication should be very comprehensive and understandable. You should use the syntax and accuracy. You should not be very irrational whenever you are doing technical communication, because there is no place of irrationality in your technical communication. Technical communication involves a lot of scientific information. It is all about transmitting knowledge, figures, graphs, whatever the researchers have done so far in the past, those informations, all of these data is being transmitted in technical communication. Importance of technical communication. So what is the importance of technical communication? Technical communication, oral as well as written, has gained prominence in the wake of these modern means of communication. In the technological era of the new millennium, also it is important to get success in business and technology. Whenever you are going to handle the business and technology, you will need technical communication over there. You cannot do the general communication in your technical field because technology involves a lot of technical terms which general reader or general audience cannot understand. So that's why it is the importance, that is the importance of technical communication, because the IT sector is growing with a widespread speed. It just boosted itself in India and other countries also. So you can say the technical fields are growing rapidly. So when technical fields are growing rapidly, then you need to understand that the future is all based upon technical communication. Whatever organization you will join, you have to deal with this technical communication. And that's why it is necessary to know about it. Features of technical writing is to use of familiar words. Do not use those words which are archaic in nature, which are not useful in general life. Because if you cannot use those words which are comprehensible in nature, then your whole report or your whole written work will become incomprehensible, and then the audience, the customers or the clients who are going to read those papers will not understand what you are trying to say. Use of clear sentences. Do not make sentences too complex. Try to be clear with your thought and with your words. Use of sentences of moderate length. Whenever you see the novels, you can see very long sentences over there. But in technical writing, we try to use the sentences of moderate length. Why? Because a long sentence can create dual meanings, can be complex in nature, and technical writing is a transmission of facts and figures, and it should be very clear and crisp in nature. Use of active voice. You should always use active voice. So the subject in your report or in your proposal become prominent in nature. You will give emphasis on the subject, which is important to your report. Avoid redundant phrases, which are very lengthy in nature. Try to make it short due to the, like example, due to the fact of. You can replace due to the fact of with a word because. So that is the way to remove the redundant phrases. Then avoid inaccurate expressions. Do not include your own feelings, your own expressions in your technical writing, because technical writing, as I have already told you, is all about rational things. Then logical division of paragraphs. Whenever you're dividing your paragraphs in your reports or in your proposal, then you should remember this, that your division of paragraphs plays important role in your technical writing. So the division of paragraphs should be very clear and accurate. And you can also defend your topic or your paragraphs division, that why you have divided these paragraphs in these sections. So I hope that the technical communications features is now clear to all of you. If you have any questions, you can ask me in your Google Classroom. Okay? Thank you, students.